Well, why the cat's away, the mouse will play. And Professor Letarte, Tampa Timms in the house, missing producer Trav. Where is the producer? Did he just went into hiding?
I think he's at a wedding in San Diego, but I mean, we can't be too sure. He might not have made it across the way. I mean, he can't go 5 minutes without stopping at a bar to drink a beer, so we don't know where he's at.
If there was a flight delay, I don't think he'd make the next one.
No, not at all.
Well, let's go back. And do we even have to talk about this? The Degenerate 4-pack last week. We went 3-1. 3 losses and 1 win. That's what we did. We had 3
The 3 losses are right here.
And the 3 losses are on the page. So maybe that's why producer Trav isn't here. Maybe he's just cashed us out. It was awful. We're going to give you another 4-pack coming. Although we're going to do a 3-pack this time, or do you have a Trav bet?
Trav did send his play to me, so.
Okay, so we still have a 4-pack.
Yep.
Big Kansas win for Chastain. Where was he on the predictor?
He wasn't that bad. 13th.
Excuse me?
He might have been 13th.
I was more excusing me on the it wasn't that bad or that good.
Well, it was higher than he has been as of late, but yeah.
All right. Well, the most important thing then, Tampa Timms, how are you doing after the big Kansas day?
We had our best week in a while here. Kansas was good. All of our props basically hit. The under Fords in the top 10, over drivers lead lap, and over drivers on the lead lap. So that was great. Big payday. The groups did not hit. Bubba really didn't have the speed, it seemed like.
Shocking, really. Him and Reddick both really were just very average.
And Bell and Larson, I had Larson to win, obviously, and then Bell and a bunch of groups. And them making mistakes was probably the shockingest thing of the weekend, even though Larson had a tire down. But still, I mean, Bell in the wall fighting for the lead. Yeah, still came back to finish 7th, though.
Well, look, and it was mistake-ridden. Pit road has been very clean. I mean, we see one a race or something, but it was just everyone seemed to have issues on pit road, issues on the racetrack. We had Kyle Busch get in the fence, chasing, trying to lap Briscoe, leading the race. Then we have Martin Truex Jr. did not get a good final restart, loses the race there. So you talk 2 monster veterans, can't close the deal.
Yeah, the Kyle Busch one, a lot of fans tweeted us and said they had a Kyle Busch win ticket and were very upset that that Briscoe cut him off. But yeah, it was crazy. It's been a mistake-ridden playoffs, honestly.
So I thought Briscoe's thing was a little aggressive in replay, especially in replay from on board with the 8. I don't love it, but I don't think he was way in the wrong. And Kyle really, even in his interview, look, if he thought it was all on Briscoe, you would have heard it, right? That's not what Kyle said. Kyle kind of just, how'd you say it, Professor? Shrugged it. I hate to say shrug it off, but he wasn't happy about it, but he didn't put the blame on Briscoe.
Yeah, he didn't make it the main topic of conversation, so.
Mm-hmm. Based off Darlington, where they raced each other very clean, do you guys think that Kyle was expecting Briscoe to kind of give him that because he raced him so clean for that, but arguably more on the line at that race than there was in this race?
More on the line for Briscoe.
Yeah, that's true.
I think what you saw is what Briscoe has to do if he wants to remain in the playoffs, which is he's fighting to stay on the lead lap. If a caution comes out, not Kyle, right? But if a caution comes out and he's not on the lead lap, it's such a huge swing in points. I just think, what makes the playoffs great in every sport, and specifically NASCAR, is we see people do stuff that I think they are uncomfortable doing. Now, I'm not saying we want to see, Austin Dillon get 3 guys on the final corner. That's not racing for me. But I like to see guys taking the edge of racing. It's kind of like Ryder Cup golf, right? Like, you don't get all the talking in regular golf. Like, it allows a little bit more, like walk-off putts and amping up the crowd. It's a different level, and NASCAR racing in the playoffs has a different feel. I mean, Professor, I feel it looking out the window. Like
for sure,
the playoff guys are definitely more edgy, kind of is what I would say, with everything they do. Talking about edgy, on to Dega. Can we move on? After the biggest weekend of the year for Tampa Timms, we're going to head on down to Birmingham, and okay, so I'm going to go on my Talladega rant, and I do this every time. It is not random. So people say it's a bingo ball, it's random. That's all bullshit. That's a slap in the face to the guys that are good at it. Now, is it harder to predict because other people affect performance and there's wrecks and all. Yes, I'm not saying it's not, I'm not going to say the results don't seem more random. I will agree with that. But what happens on the racetrack is not random. That'd be like telling Denny and Logano and Dale Jr. and Brad Keselowski and all these guys that win all the time that they're just getting lucky. And I think that is a slap in the face to the talent that these guys have. I mean, Professor, I know it's hard to predict, but some are better than others.
So I would agree that some are better than others, but these you would never, ever, ever be able to predict the guys that finish in the top 10. Like we just look at earlier this year at Talladega. Like our predicted top 10 are guys you would expect to be up there, right? Like Byron, Elliott, Blaney, Hamlin, Bubba's even in there, Logano, Bell, Briscoe, and only one of them finished in the top 10, and that was William Byron. And so we really put an emphasis on drafting tracks with this predictor and Talladega when we go to a drafting track. We put a bigger emphasis on that than regular season and recent performance. So I understand what you're saying. Like the good guys usually win, like that are good at this type of racing, and the guys that are not good at this type of racing really. It shows. Like you have Larson and Truex come to mind right away. Like they just aren't good there, and it's just their performances. They have nothing there really. Like you look at Larson has one top 5 finish on a drafting track. Like that's not by chance. But I still think this is so hard to predict.
Well, so with all of that, before we get into the predictor, let's just talk about the gambler's approach. If I'm a little slow and shaky and nursing my coffee and my Gatorade, I'm off a 2-day bending golf trip from South Florida for everybody who's listening in. So if I sound a little odd and I'm shaking, I'm trying to sip my coffee here. If you're watching on YouTube and I'm sorry, that just is what it is. I mean, I'm rattling against the mic here.
Double fisting coffee and Gatorade Zero is the sign of a good night before.
Kind of. I'm in a bounce right here.
Tampa,
let's talk about
I got a FaceTime at like 10:30 last night.
No, it was 9:45.
And I just didn't think he was going to make it this morning, I'll be honest.
Yeah. The texts that were coming through, I was like, we might have to push this back.
We can move on. It's probably not pod safe.
Oh, I like that. Hey, not pod safe. That's going to be our next pod. All the stuff that's not safe for the other pods. Yeah. So let's talk about the gambling strategy. And the reason I say that is because the favorites are 12-1. Which we normally see a 3, 4, 5-1, right? The long shots still exist for the win, but top 5s, there's still some long shots. Top 10s, they start to really go away, right? It's kind of a real even keel, and there's even top 20 on the board this week. So, Tampa, how do you go about the week? Do you try to pick a winner? Do you what's the coming off the big Kansas win?
Normally, I wouldn't try to go pick a winner at the drafting tracks, but for some reason, I feel like the playoff Talladega race, the playoff drivers do come out on top most of the time. And I like the guys that are usually up there. Blaney and Byron are my 2 big kind of like favorites, I guess you could call them, to win this week. And they finished first and second last fall. So I think it's more of a repeat of that. But somebody tweeted at me last night if they wanted to bet Corey LaJoie for a quarter unit. I would not tell you to not bet a long shot at a quarter unit if on Talladega, because anything can happen. It's not like this is, it's super hard to predict, and it's not random, but it can be a random race if there's a lot of crashes. If something crazy happens, it's probably going to happen here.
I'm trying to go back through our text thread to get to the predictor, but there was too much conversation last night. It's just all blurry. So go ahead, Professor. Let's have the predictor.
I just have a 3-headed monster in tier 1. Blaney, Elliott, and Byron. And they're not separated by much. So whoever you like out of that group would be the favorites.
And we already got Tampa on Blaney. Let's talk about the other 2, Elliott and Byron. I'm looking for him. Elliott 16-ish to 1. Byron already highlighted as well, 17-1. Tampa's on the predictor.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
No belief in Chase Elliott, huh?
It's just every week. I mean, he lets me down. It could be this week, but I've been saying that all year, I feel like. So I'd rather have Byron with a little bit better odds, too.
All right, fair. Big chunk in Group 2.
Yeah, we got Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, my favorite Alex Bowman, Bubba, Ross, Cindric, Suarez, Reddick, and Bell. They're pretty close together there, too.
The whole predictor is pretty close. Like, there's not a lot of movement in the numbers. I'm letting you start. Go ahead, Group 3.
It's Kyle Larson, Busher, Keselowski. That's a surprise, right, for us. And then the Chase Briscoe's not a surprise. Logano's a big surprise in this tier as well. Then we have Haley, probably it's the only time you're going to find him in this top 20 area. And then Truex and McDowell. McDowell can qualify like crazy. If you can get a qualifying bet, that's who I take for the pole. But the finishes don't match up his qualifying effort.
We got to talk Brad and Logano, right? I mean, how are they down here? I mean, I know there's a reason, so let's have it. Why are two big names driving blue ovals? Ford's so good. Let's hear it.
He's been 19th or worse in 4 of the last 6 drafting tracks. So those big negative finishes are what brings him down. And he's got 3 of the last 5 at Talladega as those really big negative finishes as well. You want Logano?
Oh, yeah.
In the next gen car, his best finish at Talladega is 19th.
You could stop right there. That's all we needed. Really? That would have been a loss.
I'm checking the columns.
That would have been a loss on a trivia question for me, for sure.
He's probably led the most laps or up there. He's got to, but finished 19th. Really, that's crazy.
I wish we could get an average running position while running, because your average running position gets totally messed up. Because when you wreck, you get credit for way back there all those other laps. But if we could get an average running position like while running. Look at Professor. His head just exploded. He's like, you just dropped this on the pod. Like, you want me to just write a quick little algorithm, just a little.
It can be done, but you could have sent me that last night.
That's why I FaceTimed you.
Yeah, whatever.
I want to talk some numbers.
I couldn't even tell who was in the front seat, who was in the back seat. It was a disaster.
Man, you're lucky I didn't FaceTime you the night before because I needed some more dry paper. The first day did not go good. I needed some more ammunition. I needed some more gambling ammunition. What do they say? So you get dry powder? Well, I needed some because I was pockets turned inside out, shaking the couch cushions for change.
Oh, jeez.
and I don't know if we want to talk about Larson, but he's got 1 top 5 in 46 drafting track starts.
Yeah, I mean, I think these words rarely ever come out of my mouth, but this is a fade Larson weekend. He could look. The guy's good enough. He could prove us wrong. All we can do is present the numbers, and his numbers at speedways aren't good.
Now, he'd be one that'd be interesting to see what his average running position is when he's running, because I feel like he runs top 10, but there's something that happens to him always.
Yeah, he hits Logano or Logano hits him. That's why they're together. I mean, I don't mean like running. I mean like wreck, and you're like, oh, look, the 5 and the 22 crash, and you're like, oh, yeah, they got caught up in it.
That's kind of why Brad and Joey, they're always next to each other, and they always are in the same crash. So that makes perfect sense why they're so low on the predictor.
All right, well, we got some blue though highlighted even with all this. Let's talk about your winners you have currently. You have Blaney, Byron, and my man Alex Bowman.
Oh yeah. I agree with the predictor here. I think he's running really well, and I'm kind of going on the theme that a playoff driver is going to win this race. So if you're looking at those long shots, Bowman and Briscoe are the 2 real long shots, and Bowman was higher on the predictor, so I took Bowman. What was it, 34-1? I think is a really good price. He's running really well, like in the playoffs. I think he should be in the 20s, but I don't really think of him as a great drafting track driver. But I don't know. Maybe he's due. I have no idea.
So I got a playoff question, and I want to see if I'm just totally crazy with this. Has Hendrick been really successful of just being off the radar? Now, like Larson's had 2 big issues, but he's the one driver that can, right? Starting round 1, he had it, and then he had it again last week at Kansas. But he can afford it. Elliott, Byron, and Bowman, are just, well, Bowman's not quiet. He's running great. But the other 2 are just running as good as they need to advance. Is that fair assessment, Professor? Like, I don't think they're doing anything wrong.
Yeah, I would say Chase Elliott's had some close calls. Like he had issues at Atlanta on pit road. He had a problem at Watkins Glen on pit road. And then he in that first lap deal at Kansas too. He brushed the wall on the first lap, I think, too.
Yep.
So like he's had some issues, and then William Byron, he hasn't had too much. He's been pretty quiet there. But Bowman, has been the best in the playoffs. Most points scored in general. Most points, like he's been getting stage points like crazy. His stage points are ridiculous compared to everybody else.
So he has 3 highlighted winners, no top 5s highlighted. And I'm going to tell you, you want to talk about a sweat bet? That tri-oval, the top 5 can change. Your guy can go in and out of the playoffs. Your guy could go in and out of your bet slip. And if we get a wreck on the last lap, don't ask me. Just when NASCAR tells us what the lineup is, I'll let you know, because there's no way I'm going to try to untangle that cobweb.
Yeah, it's not even worth it.
I'm going to say, hey, Jeff, who do you think's running where? That's what you're going to hear in the booth.
Yeah, no. Not going to touch top 5s. I'll take some shots with some top 10s, though, for sure.
All right, top 10s. You got minus money at the top of the board. You're not paying minus 250 for anybody, right? You're not paying minus 175. Even money starts around the 14th, 15th guy on the list in odds, so you can get close to even money for Bell, Truex, McDowell, Gibbs, Suarez. And then you like Bowman, plus 130.
Yeah, I just like Bowman because I like him to win. I'll throw some on the top 10. He's a top 10 machine, so we'll ride that horse. McDowell, I would think. I mean, I'd like plus 105, but it's not, I don't know, not really great enough for me to place it. I like it, though. Then you got Briscoe. I highlighted Gilliland. I wouldn't argue Ryan Preece or Harrison Burton. Even Josh Berry was running well at Daytona. Like any of those guys, I think you can take a shot at. Just statistically, I like Gilliland. He's really good here. Leads laps, he could be there. And Briscoe, same thing. Just a playoff driver. I'd rather have him. He's impressing everybody. Why not? Why not a swan song? Nice run, maybe a threat for the win for Stewart-Haas.
I like that. It could be a final Stewart-Haas send-off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you, if you're an
too.
SHR fan, right, you could put a quarter unit on each of the 4 drivers, and that would give you what? Where are the 4 drivers at? You got Berry, 55-1, Gregson, 55-1, Priest, 55-1, and Briscoe, 40-1. Like, if you're an SHR fan, that would be, or even just top 5s. Look at their top 5 numbers. Put like a quarter unit on the SHR, the Degenerate 4-pack SHR top 5. A quarter unit on all 4. You only need 1 to hit. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I tell you, the top 20s, I was super excited to talk about them. And if they were minus 130s or minus 110s, you'd have a bucket full of them. But at minus 175, it's just too expensive to be wrong.
Yeah, 100%. I've got 2 highlighted. Just Cody Ware, he cashed us at Daytona. Might have to ride him again, but he went up to minus 130, so they corrected. And Zane Smith minus 140. I don't know. He's been running better. It might be in my mind that he could. He'll just lay back but I think he's getting some disrespect. I think there's value in that, even though it's minus 140. So
I like that. Matter of fact, I would ride the Spire train, and I would really like Hocevar and Haley for top 10s. I mean, I'm just saying, Hocevar is a plus 360. Haley's numbers are really good at Talladega. I'd probably take Haley over Hocevar.
I think they're really disrespectful.
Although, can we talk Haley first? Going to a speedway race, him and his spotter. I love his spotter. Great guy. I like Haley. Let's get the lingo down. Honest mistake, but just a mistake. So I'm not going to pick on him because we all make them. But if you didn't watch the race, going down the backstretch, our man Haley, lane change. Problem is he was middle 3. So, or per his spotter, in and out. And what his spotter said was in and out, which means, in my mind, inside and outside, you're in the middle. That did not process to Haley. And if anybody laughs on how you don't have this, go listen to some live spotter, like the coming, right? We're not having, it's, so he says in and out, and he turns left, because he has a big run. And I'll have to give Haley credit. He didn't try to hide. He didn't blame the spotter. He goes, man, I didn't understand what you were telling me. I'm paraphrasing. He goes, I understand it now, but please, I'm used to 3 wide bottom, 3 wide middle, 3 wide top. That's the verbiage I want to use. Remember, there was a driver swap first time in the 7 car, and they stuck with their current spotter. So it's just a lingo thing. So my question, I guess, is I think that helps Haley for Talladega because now that it happened, surely it's going to be a big point of conversation. I bet they're going to watch some videos together. I mean, I don't know this, but I can't imagine Haley, his crew chief, and his spotter aren't going to circle the wagons and make sure they're on the same page this week.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird switch when you don't switch your spotters. I feel like that's a very personal decision. I know Spire, I think, pays their spotters like separately, but like still, I feel like that's a weird move to keep the spotters.
So it's interesting. The spotters work for the teams. You know, and it's should they, right? Or should the spotter work for it? They work for the team because as a crew chief, I want to have input on what the spotter contributes to more than just helping the driver. But I would never pick a spotter without the driver's approval. But for the fan who's wondering how that works, like the spotter, it's not like a caddy. You know, he doesn't work for the driver. He works for the team, even though his relationship is mostly with the driver. Hey, NFL fans, you could start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/Dough, D-O-U-G-H. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued at non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. All right, so we got some top tens. You got Bowman, we talked about. Briscoe, I mean, he did it last time. He was behind going to the Glen. He had a monster Watkins Glen. So if he could do it again, he needs to do it again. And then I like that Todd Gilliland.
Yeah. He has been running great of late, but, I mean, this is probably his best track.
I agree. I like Gilliland.
For sure. 12th or better in the last
22 minutes in. Let's have it. 22 minutes.
12th or better in the last 4. 3 top 10s. Last 4.
Yeah.
That's early this week.
Yeah. Trav's not here.
Trav will be proud of you.
Cutting it in half. Usually it's in the 40s.
I know. There's something else coming. You wait.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk matchups. Is it just numbers here? What are we doing here? HMS versus JGR.
If you're not getting plus money on a matchup, I don't even want to touch it. The team ones, I mean,
I like the team ones, if anything.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, I don't like that they're not 115 either way, but you could talk me in on a couple of these. Like Spire over Colleague, I like that one.
Oh, yeah. I like Spire over Colleague. I like RFK over RCR.
Yeah.
It's impossible to predict. I mean, pick a team and go with it. This is a popcorn weekend, guys. That's what this is. You pop some kernels, sit back, and watch the chaos.
I got JGR. Russ has on his sheet that JGR has never won a drafting track race in the next gen era.
Correct.
Interesting.
What are these sheets? I don't get a sheet.
Yeah.
Are those emails I don't open you send me?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
That's the rumor. Never won a drafting next-gen car.
That's correct.
Man, Russ, you're bringing the heat.
Yeah, well, you think about it. Truex isn't any good there, right? Hamlin's been a while since he's won.
I got a question. Does the off-track conversation and news affect 2311 drivers, front row drivers, or Denny Hamlin, who also owns one? If you don't know, I'm talking about there's a lawsuit. We're not going to get into the law. None of that matters on this pod, but the news matters. That's my point, right? So I'm just talking about Tampa as a gambler. You know, you kind of look at everything, right? Russ is the numbers guy. I mean, as a coach, I feel like it doesn't affect 23 and 11 drivers or front row drivers. I think this is executive level. I think Denny has a lot going on. Like, I don't know, right? I mean, I don't know if I could be an owner. You know, like, that's a lot. That's a lot to weigh on a guy, right? So, I mean, he had some odd comments after the race last week after, like, struggling on pit road. And I don't know. Like, I figure he could go here and struggle, or he could be the first JGR guy to win in the next gen era and do donuts on the tri-oval, right? Like, that's kind of like a NASCAR storyline, isn't it, Professor? Could you see it happening? Hamlin win. I mean,
sure.
no doubt, right?
For sure. Yep. Or like a 23-11 win, like
Danny and MJ staying in victory lane, big smiles, like
arm in arm.
Yeah. Right. That's what I mean.
I think it's hard if you're Denny. How do you not think about it?
Yeah.
And maybe bring it into it. I mean, you don't really try. I bet when he's in the car, he feels the best he's felt probably all week. But how do you not bring that into it?
That's the other way. That's a good point, though. Maybe he straps in and he's like, whew, I just get to drive. Like, for 3 hours, I can just be a driver.
Yeah. But still, like, him after his comments, last week and kind of how they've performed, I bet this has something to do with, like, just subconsciously. I mean,
I only could compare it to people that have had other struggles, right? Either a health thing, health in the family, maybe a marriage issue. Like, people, like, those are real life deals, business. Say a guy owns a business. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know how you separate them all.
Mm-hmm. After a while, too, if it goes on for months and months, it's tough.
Well, and then the other side of that is beware of the injured golfer, right? Well, maybe that's the focus. Maybe it'll be super focused for the 3 hours he's in there.
I would say it wouldn't affect McDowell's the one I'd worry about the least because he's moving on.
Great point.
Like, I don't think that affects him one bit.
Great point. All right, we have a couple others. So you like plus money. So therefore, let's go down. I see Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman plus 130.
Yeah,
so I'm of the opinion that you get plus money for what's that?
Versus a minus 175.
Yeah, like I think plus 130. I'm not gonna say anybody versus anybody, but anyone reasonably in the same tier in odds, I'm taking plus money.
100%.
Come on, let's get the you never get this back out anymore. Let's get the head-to-head tool back out, Professor. We don't ever get it back out again. Come on, let's do it. Travis leaves us. We're going to make a good pod. His ass is not even up where he is. No. We're going to show him what we can do when he's not here.
He's still got the 4 a.m. McDonald's order in the queue.
In the queue. He's waiting right now. He's like, hash browns. Need my hash browns.
Exactly.
So it's definitely an Elliott over Bowman, for sure.
What's the numbers?
It's at this track. I just doing the next gen car. It's 3-1.
Okay.
I know there's been 5 races there, but they've only been together 4 times. But I think where Bowman comes in, where you can say you can bet Bowman is the last 5 on this type of track, it's 4-1 Bowman.
I like it. Plus, it's plus money. We're working the math. All right, then give me Logano and Hamlin because you can get Hamlin plus over Logano.
So I think this is a Denny Hamlin 4-1 at Talladega.
Wow.
And track type, like drafting tracks, it's 8-9, but it's just.
This is why I love to watch this pod be recorded live because I'm watching Russell's eyes twitch running the numbers, and as soon as he said it, Tampa looked straight down, which means he picked up his phone. That bet just got placed, I think, right there, guys.
Oh yeah.
That's a Hamlin over Logano. What about Briscoe Cindric? We're talking this. This is the below the cut line head-to-head battle.
Now, Cindric's been our drafting track guy this year, though.
I know. That's why. Yeah. That's why I'm asking. He don't like it. You don't even have to tell me the numbers. He don't like it. I could tell by the sigh and the eye roll that he don't like it.
I think it's just way too close.
All right.
I think
Cindric's been
it leans Cindric. It leans Cindric, but it's just too close.
All right. So here's my new strategery. Both to finish top 10. Follow me on this one. Pick teammates or liked manufacturers. Because they're going to probably be running near each other. Now, I don't know if it's a chaotic race. No. But so my point is Bubba and Bell. Say Toyota does an off strategy. Now, they wrecked each other on an off strategy here before. But say Toyota does something different. That would probably put Bubba and Bell together. Like I don't love Bell and Byron. I don't want one Toyota, one Chevrolet. Like, I'm trying to look up. There's really not. There you go, Byron and Elliott. If you think the Hendrick car, now I don't like plus 135. Bowman and Larson. You say Larson's not good here, so I don't think I can get on that one. I like the McDowell-Cindric or the Bowman-Chastain if you were going to do either.
That's a good old Tampa Timms sweat bet right there. Bowman-Larson. I mean, Bowman-Larson would be a real sweat, but I mean, the only thing we sweat.
No, it wouldn't. There'd be no sweat. But that thing would be, by the second beer, that one will be dead. That water's a tear-up ticket.
Very true. Very true. I like that strategy. That's not a bad way to look at it, honestly.
I'm not saying they're good bets. I'm just saying if you're looking for some entertainment, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Stage 1 in the race has happened twice, 5-1. Stage 2 in the race has happened 3 times, 3-1.
You like these little notes in here, huh?
It's firing. Like, you're going to fire because it's going to be, they're going for stage points. That Denny Hamlin Atlanta strategy didn't work, and everybody saw it. And I'm not saying racing all day will work. You could flip there as well and be out of control, but I'd much rather wreck trying than wreck riding. Now, once again, I'm not the guy wrecking. It doesn't hurt from the pit box. I'm not the guy strapped into this thing. The bet is how many drivers lead a lap. It's basically a heads-up bet. 22.5 is the number. There'll be 40 cars in the field. Under 22.5 is 10 out of the last 11. It is like this should definitely not be a 115 bet, or the number needs to be like 20.5 or something. So I like that bet under.
Now this is playoff races because I think
and they're going to ride around and save gas. I like the under. I'm going to tell you, drivers on the lead lap. I'm saying under just for finishes. I'm not sure you're going to have 29.5 cars running. Over would have paid once in the last 7 playoff races. So I think it's an under day. Plus, you want those together because if you get that early wreck that takes out 10 cars, you're probably not going to have over 22.5 liters. If you could tie those together, Tampa, I don't know if the book would. That would be a really good tied together under.
I don't think you can, but I don't
think you can either.
I think taking both, you'll be very happy.
I agree. And you know why I like those bets? I'm going to tell you. I love when you take those bets because up there from the booth, I don't care who wins, and I'm not cheering on drivers. Like, I really don't. Well, that's a lie. I would like to see Kyle Busch and Truex win in the next 7. They've earned it for me. Kyle's 20 years in a row. I don't care. Call me a fan. I'm a fan of those guys. I'm a fan of Kyle Busch. If he can win 20 in a row, that's greatness happening. I'd like to see that happen. That's like Jimmy Johnson winning his 7th title, right? I'd love to be a part of it. And I think Martin Truex Jr., I would love to see him win. I know he's coming back for the 500, but I'd love to see at least one more win where he can be celebrated, especially now that he's out of the playoffs. But other than that, I don't care who wins. But I love these bets because I know Tampa's sweating at home. Oh, yeah. So I have this little tablet up there because, lead changes isn't really a thing we look at on our stat, but it's on my tablet. Twice last week, I scrolled to the 3rd page. I'm like, let me just see where we're at on lead changes. It was exciting times.
That was fun. They are fun to watch. And in a race where everything's kind of focused on the front and the playoff guys, it is fun to kind of look at the pylon and be like, how many hard lead lap? How many?
And guys, I give you the middle of stage 3. I'm going to give you all the updates that you're looking for as a gambler. I'm going to tell you. For guys for those that are interested, is probably how I'll say it, right? It's a great football line, the extra point missed. Doesn't matter for most, but to some, very important, right? I'm going to give you, for those that are interested, we have had 19 drivers lead a lap today. We currently have 26 cars on the lead lap, and there's been 45 lead changes. I'll just give it a little stat line about halfway through the 3rd.
I love it. The old Al Michaels.
It's so good.
A blowout. Good. The over is still in play.
Yes, and just like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the time we've all been waiting for. It's the Degenerate 4-pack, or are we going to do Xfinity first?
Russ, you want to do Xfinity?
Yeah, we can do Xfinity. Just real quick. I don't think there's much here to talk about. Yeah, I would just say that Austin Hill is not a Talladega guy. Like we talk about, Austin Hill is the favorite, and he's obviously a drafting track guy anywhere we go, but Talladega's best finish there is 14th.
So, top Toyota, there's only 5 Toyotas in the field, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out who. I don't know Thompson.
Dean Thompson, I think. He's in the Sam Hunt car. Yeah.
Oh, he's in the 26 car. I was trying to put him in a car, the Sam Hunt racing car. Okay, I know who you're talking about now. The last name didn't jump. I mean, I kind of like what you're doing here, right? You got there's 5 in there. Almirola, Creed, Chandler, Smith, Gray, and Thompson. If you get a wreck, I don't hate your plan there.
Yeah. this is probably one of the first weeks I've seen this for Xfinity, so I'm kind of pumped to play it. But yeah, there's five Toyotas. I'd take a shot with it.
You like Almirola to win? Is that what you have him highlighted for 12-1? You think that's the best value?
I do. He's a Cup guy. He's the only Cup guy in the Xfinity race.
Yep, it matters too.
And I definitely like him in anything you can get him in, honestly. I will say this though, look at how many bets we have for Xfinity. Usually when
This is A+.
the other guys in charge, we get them like oral over the pod. So.
Oh yeah. Trav's in big trouble when he comes back. I'm making a list.
Oh no.
I'm making a list. All right, there's your info on Xfinity. Let's get into the Degenerate 4-pack. Oh, I can't even say what I'm going to say. It's a Saturday game. I don't know what time it starts. I have to look it up. Oh boy.
I think I have a Saturday at noon. Travis is at 3:30.
I'm embarrassed to tell you what my pick is, so let me check the time.
Oh no.
Is it Alabama?
No, worse. I'm going to tell you the one I didn't take first. Hold on. Here's the one I am going to play, but I didn't put it in the 4-pack.
Okay.
My wife is an alum of the Syracuse Orangemen.
Ooh,
a lot of stuff happening out in UNLV, and Syracuse is getting 6.5. A lot of NIL talk. I'm going to be on the Syracuse game. My wife's an alum. I got to do it. All right, my game I'm looking for. It's late. Where the hell is it? Oh, I have a 4 p.m. game.
I'll go first. I think mine's
Go
the
ahead,
first
let's
one
do
anyway.
it.
I got the Navy Shipmen. That Air Force, they are red hot this year. That quarterback could score 4 touchdowns at will. I got a -3. Gonna go to alt line. They're 10-point favorites, but I'll do a field goal.
I like that. I'm the 4 o'clock. Is it me or Trav?
I think you go at the same time. So you go first. Then
I'll
I'll do
go.
Trav's.
It crushes me to say this, but I'm going big red. Nebraska over Rutgers. The line's 7. That's too much. You got to at least buy a hook. You got to at least be 6.5. There's no way I'm betting it as a touchdown. So alt line at great. If you can get a field goal alt line, that is a real comfortable bet. But Nebraska is really good this year, and it pains me to say because I love to celebrate on Rick Allen's misery. Because those who don't know, he was like damn near Olympic level decathlete, just short of the Olympics. Held records at Nebraska as an athlete, was the voice of the football for a while. He's done it all out there. So I'm taking Nebraska over Rutgers -6.5 is what we're going to look for.
Damn, I didn't know he was that big.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Oh yeah. What did he triple vault? He triple faulted in the something discus hammer, one of the ones you spin around in, and that was the end of it. I think he was in the Brian. Remember the Brian years? Wasn't it Brian, the big promotion, whatever that was back then? That's before your time, Tampa.
Yeah, it's before me. I have no idea.
No, he was good. Like, no joke, good.
Wow. That's awesome.
All right, so Nebraska, Matt Rule and Big Red covering on Rutgers.
You want the 6.5, or are you going down to 2.5?
How much do I have to give up for 2.5?
Let me find it.
That'd be a ton. That'd be like minus. Well, the money line's -238.
Yeah, 2.5 is -250. 6.5 would be -130.
2.5 is -130.
No, 2.5 is -250.
What's your money line?
-275.
No, we're gonna ride the cover. -6.5. Right. I'm gonna take all you degenerates down with me.
Do it. Trav might be the one we're worried about this week. I got it from him late last night, so I don't know how clearly he was thinking. He's got Georgia first half -13.5. They're playing Auburn.
What?
Mm.
All right, that way we can blame the loss on Trav.
Yep. He told me I could do an alt line if I wanted to, but I'm like, you said -13.5. I feel like I have to go with it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's like, hey, do something different so I can blame you. No way,
exactly.
Trav. We're taking it face value.
Yeah. I told him if he didn't give me one, I'm just doing Michigan -14 so he can, cry and say he lost the bet. So.
All right, Professor. It could all come down to you.
I'm going safe this week.
Oh, he just jinxed it. You just Rick Allen the crap out of us.
Tennessee at Arkansas. Money line.
Oh, come on. What's that, minus 5,000?
Minus 500.
All right, we'll give it to you. What else you like this weekend? That's our Degenerate. Okay, real quick. Degenerate 4-pack, Tampa fired off. What is it?
Navy minus 2.5. That's an alt spread. Steve's going with Nebraska minus 6.5. Travis from San Diego's drunk. He's got Georgia first half minus 13.5. And Russ, you've got Tennessee money line. That comes out to plus 407. And if we put our unit all together, $5 each, $20 total, we win 81.54. So we're going for just a winner this week, I feel like.
And here's the best part is if we hit the first three, we're going to cash out because the Tennessee-Arkansas is a waste of a risk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not trying to be smart to professor. Like, I have no – that's a great pick, and I'm not saying he's doing the wrong thing, but there's no reason for us to get beat on the bad beat of the weekend.
No.
What
My
we
game
would probably do is cash out and then take the spread.
Yeah. We'll reinvest it. Don't worry. It won't stay in the account for long, but –
No. These apps can't run on themselves. They need somebody to pay for them.
No, exactly.
There's nothing better than I get these emails from MGM and they're like, you have 7 complimentary nights waiting on you. I'm like, they're not complimentary. I've paid for them. Speaking of which, stopped at the Seminole Hard Rock down there in Hollywood, Florida. Gorgeous. Never been down there. Unbelievable.
It is nice down there.
It was,
but that's a big guitar one, right? You can see from the highway.
Stayed in one of the guitar room, like at the guitar tower. It was a great time. I will say this though, at about 1 a.m., me and Chopper looking for the rock paper scissors because we had lost it. Everything else, so we were looking for Chevy Chase Vegas Vacation. Pick a number. Oh, you lose. Pick a new number. You lose again.
I love how you say you stopped there.
What do you mean stopped? That was one of the stops on our trip. Everybody understands a stop. We needed gas. We stopped in Hollywood, Florida.
You can't miss it.
All right, what else we got? What else? What other football you got? Anything else I need to bet on? So, like I said, I like Syracuse. I've done no research. I'm just saying, like, no real tangible research other than UNLV is in the news a lot. Monster team. I probably will do a little research to see who's actually playing for them. I think those kids are still there. Is that the deal? Are they out? What's the deal?
I have no idea. I know
they're
they
out.
won last week.
I think they're out too, and then they won with the other kid. I don't know. I'm taking Syracuse just because it's a 9 p.m. tomorrow night. That's a Perry's watch, too, because that's 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Talladega, Birmingham. Oh, yes.
I might have to place that just to
Pork
watch
chop
it on Friday
bites
night.
and Syracuse football.
Oh, yeah. I got Indiana minus 13 at Northwestern. Indiana's – I'm just going to ride them until they fall off. It's the Alex Bowman of college football. So,
You know what? My daughter's at Northwestern, and I'm taking Indiana. It's going straight up the road. It's a short trip for them. It's the makeshift field. Although my theory was the kids are now back in session. So if Indiana doesn't cover, it's because the kids are there.
that's true.
Is your kid going to go?
I have to check with her. I bet so. She's Miss Social, man. Hard to believe.
What do you got anything in this Missouri Texas A&M game? Missouri's like plus 2.5. I think they should be favored.
We're missing something because Mizzou's gonna.
Must be.
The current Mizzou should.
It's at Texas A&M though, right?
Yeah, I don't really know if they're that good though. I
College
haven't really watched
Station
much.
it's tough, but it's not.
Yeah, not that tough.
I mean, is Johnny Manziel coming back? Something I don't know.
I mean, they knew. That's what I'm saying. Is an alumni
I feel
game
like
playing?
I'm with you. So I love looking at it, but this is one that this is a Google search. Like, what's up with Missouri? Something,
Yeah, 100%.
It's a noon game, so it's 11 o'clock start in Texas.
The only other one I really like was the USC Minnesota under. It's 51.5. I don't know if Minnesota can even score. So this is either all USC
Yeah.
at Minnesota too. I mean, I don't know.
Russ, how about the 7th team in the nation? How are they going to play this week?
Or no, they're gonna money line this one. It's good.
You can't money line a
27.5
28-point favorite.
27 and a half.
That's why I asked you.
So it is a noon game so that would be 9 o'clock UCLA time. I just 27 and a half is a lot.
Kids better show up. I want a big whiteout. I want some crazy stands. Like, if you're a college kid, there's nothing better than going to a 28-point favorite game, right? Because you basically just go there and have a couple beers, and you're going to see some touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Tampa get.
That's the best game.
I will tell you another bet I'm taking just out of principle. The App State Marshall, I'm taking App State. What's happened in the western or eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, the whole Appalachia, that whole area up there. I'm going to tell you, go to social media, check it out. Like, words can't even describe what the scene is up there. There's so many great stories of people helping, dropping supplies. That Starlink, like, I'm not going to make up the number, but more than a whole bunch of Starlinks have been. I saw today on the Today Show that Elon Musk is giving service for free in a big swath of area. There was more to it. You go online when you register it, and it knows where it is, and you somehow get it free. So if there's any way, it's a standard old, as much as we are degenerates, help your neighbor, right? It's only maybe 2 hours from us. We could be there in a car. Like, it's really close to home. And it's just one of those things you can't even imagine. The videos are awful. And the speed, you see some of these flash floods, it's just crazy. It's truly unbelievable. And I'm going to say, we flew out a day early to Kansas, but, I'm not a big news watcher, Professor, but I don't remember there a lot of conversation about this potential size of the storm up here in the mountains. I know a lot happened in the Panhandle. I'm not trying to discount what happened to Florida either. Awful there as well. But that was the focus of the, hey, prepared, be ready, because this is going to be bad here. I didn't hear or think it was going to be a big deal in the mountains, and it was just awful.
Or they say it's like the second worst hurricane in the last 50 years or something to Katrina.
It's just, when you start talking about no cell service, right? So you can't even check on your loved ones. No running water. They said, and there's no running water in some of these towns, and it's not a TBD. It's like we're not sure. Way, way, way down the road. So some required human food, water, shelter. So anyone who's affected, we feel for you. Anyone listening, if you can, take your one unit that you weren't sure where to bet it and donate it to whatever you feel is the right one. Go to the Red Cross. There's a bunch of them out there. That's what we actually should do. We should donate another 4-pack Degenerate to the relief efforts, because it's crazy stuff. So
yeah. 100%.
So I'm betting App State, and if I win, I'm going to donate, and if I lose, I'm going to donate too. So it's a win-win. Win-win either way. How about it, Professor? Anything else? You're awful quiet about Happy Valley. I thought you were going to jump right in like they were going to cover 28, because good teams win, great teams cover.
They are a great team. What about the Clemson-Florida State game? That's an interesting one to me. DJ not playing against his old team.
Yeah, I think that's Clemson. 14 and a half?
14 and a half.
Blindly looking at it, I think, that's Clemson.
I have that as a circled teaser team for me.
I like that. Clemson on the road is not the same team as at home. I will say that. So teasing it, I like it a lot better.
So I'm looking at a big 3-teamer. I love to take, a double-digit spread and move it down. I don't like moving through 0. So, I'm going to find probably that Indiana Northwestern game is going to go into it on the IU side, Clemson on their side, and I'll probably take Happy Valley down to 2 touchdowns. So if they don't cover, it's worth every dollar, because Russ will hear it all day Sunday.
I like that a lot.
Sunday. Anybody else got anything? We're off to Talladega. The playoffs continue. The round of 12, the second race. Still looking for a playoff winner in this round after a big win by Ross Chastain last week. Tampa Timms coming off a huge weekend in Kansas. Trav, we're going to put a little Life 360 on Trav's phone to make sure we know where he's at. Hopefully he made it all the way to San Diego. He'll be proud of this, though, because Russ got his stuff in 22 minutes into the pod. So get all your bets in, and may all your bets pay off.